What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XPR network today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. This one comes to us at the request of Michelle O'Neill. Michelle, we're doing this for you. 00033439 is where we are right now. Likely we do go a little bit lower. Bitcoin today is up about 0.2%. XPR is up about 1.5%, right? We see it move up more than Bitcoin. We see it move down more than Bitcoin. That's kind of the name of the game here, okay? If we take this relative low here to a relative high, the next target area that we could expect to encounter, I think, would be something between the 1272 to the 1618. Something between 00299, so like 003, to 00249, 0025. Something in that area, right? 0033, yeah, 0023, no, I'm sorry, 003 to 0025, somewhere in that area is what I would expect. Being that I expect Bitcoin to drop 11% or more, 14% at the most, I would think that you do take out your 1272, making the 141 area a nice area to find support. Maybe you do go down to 0. Wait, how does that make? Okay, 0026. 266, something like that, just below this 1414, or you go all the way down to your 1618, down at 0025. And you could, there is a scenario where you could go lower, maybe all the way down to 00214. You could. You have prior areas of resistance here, but you also have prior areas of resistance right there at the 1618 as well. So you could find support there. I think I'm not calling for this as like the call for your low. I'm just saying worst case scenario, that would be where you go, and it would still be a higher low overall. XPR is not in the doghouse; it's totally fine. But I do have a strong feeling that you'll find support somewhere between 20277, 20278, I should say, to 2025. Something in that area there. That's what I'm expecting. Once you move down, it'll probably be, I don't know, over the coming days. I would think by the 2nd of April we have resolution, which would imply some more high velocity movements over the coming days, consistent with what we've seen so far, if not more. And once we have that resolution, it'll either be the 2nd of April, just before the 2nd of April, like a day before, or maybe a day or two afterwards. Something in that kind of time frame. April will be a month to configure yourself, reconfigure yourself, look to build, and then I think May will be the month that we really start to explode. Going into June, we'll probably top off, and where will those prices be, right? The downside, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, the downside could be, somewhat dramatic from here, 20% to 30%, even more than that is possible, sure. But this right here is not what should concern you. It's the next move up that should concern you, because this move is likely going to take you above 3 cents, if not even upwards to 4 cents is what I'm thinking, right? This, as concerning as it might be, it's never fun to ride out the lows whenever they come, but at the cost of riding the highs, it's a no-brainer. I don't think now's a good time to sell. You never know when I could be wrong. Even if Bitcoin's right and it does move to the downside, XPR could do its own thing at any moment. Horrible time to sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if I was holding XPR, I would not be selling here. I'd be looking to buy more. And if I was looking to buy more, I'd probably wait like a day or two. That's what my genuine opinion is. Probably wait until April 2nd, or maybe even April 1st. We'll see, because I think April 1st will be a sell day, but we'll get to that whenever the time comes. Looking at this on a weekly basis, talking about the upside though, because I do think that there's a lot of upside to be had. If we're looking at, I want to use this fib here from a high here to a low there. Yes, high to low there. I would think that your next fib area that you stop at would be at least at 1.4 cents. Then you have 2.2 cents. And then ultimately the money zone, which is colored in orange, because orange is the new color of money, man. We're going to 3.2 cents to 4.45 cents, something like that. And there is a scenario in which you could go even higher. I don't know if I believe that you'll run up to 10 cents, but maybe you could. The 3618 and 3786 are up there. That would imply that you see a higher high than this high here. And the only reason I give that a kind of knowledge, or a nod of acknowledgement, a possible outcome, is that you are in this massive W pattern, and oftentimes W's do go through where they began. But it's also pretty common for them to consolidate right around where the high was and then continue, right? Something like that. So what we don't want to see is just like a harsh rejection from this area, though. That's what we don't want to see, because that would be a failed W at that point, and that's a whole different story. But we'll go over that when or if the time comes. From a high to a low here, being that you've interacted with the golden ratio on this fib front, the next target area technically would be 1.87 to 2.9 cents, but I have a theory that you're actually going to go above the 886. This is kind of less common to do, but in strong endeavors, you do go above the 886. You find resistance between the 886 and the 100 area, and part of that suspicion does come from the fact that your money zone is right up there too. The 2618 is here, and if you were to stop at the 2618 between the 786 and the 886, fine. You could stop. You could only go to 2.2 cents, 2.3 cents, and that's fine. But if you don't stop there, you're likely going to go above the 886. Okay, and from here, let alone from the lower prices that we're anticipating, these targets at a minimum, I'm thinking are at the least of about a six, almost a 7x to something that's around like a 9, almost a 10x to potentially even a 13x, something like that. Anything and everything in between is a very possible outcome, and I think that we will see that happen. I really do think that this next move will be bigger than the last move. It just might take more time, right? This move here took about 3 weeks to fully achieve from the last consolidation phase. You started moving up this week, 1, 2, 3 weeks later, you moved up. I would think that this one might take like 2 months. And just because you find your low doesn't mean that you're moving up immediately, right? We look at this here. You found your low right here. Did you move up immediately? No. You found your low here. Did you move up immediately? Kind of, yes, to be fair, but it was like a week, and then you started to move up here, a week. Then you started to move up here at this low, 3 weeks, and then you started to move up, right? Here, whenever we find our low, which I think will be very early, if not sometime in the later part of next week, I think that it will be probably late April before we really start to see signs of life in this thing. I'm sure we will recover. I'm sure we'll see a little volatility once we find our low, because you've been through the ringer recently. You've been moving down. I'm sure you'll get a nice initial pop, but nothing that's going to like explode you to new all-time highs is coming in April. I think that's more for May and June. Okay, I hope that's clearly received. Whenever it comes to all-time high prices, whenever it does come for all-time high prices, and I don't know if that's going to happen by May or June. I think that's for later in the cycle. But you're at a $91 million market cap now. I think this thing has 100x potential. Right? That would give you about a $9.1 billion market cap. It has multi-100x potential. It just depends on how we do, I think, on this next pump up. If we can get above 3 cents, that'd be very encouraging. If we're below 2 cents by the end of this next move, maybe it's not time to consider 100x targets anymore. This thing is relatively new, and it's not the easiest to guess all-time high targets and stuff like this, but we're going to try. October 2021 to October 2023. All-time, or not all-time high, but kind of the high of this bear market move that you had, high to low here. Your expectations could be anything, I think, from about, I don't know, man, 80 cents or more. Let's see, what would that be? Is that accurate? I mean, dude, we really could see a multi-100x with this thing. I like the 1618. I think that's where you could go. If not, sometimes you do stop just above your 1414. That could happen too, but that's still 100x. Your very minimum target would be the 1272, and that's a 50x from here. So this thing has legs. It's got room to run. It definitely does. But if I had to guess, I don't know, man. I think that you could and might, in fact, see prices above $1, if not even multiple dollars by the end of the cycle. It would be incredible. XPR would have to make a name for itself. It'd have to be one of those popular coins that people are talking about, that everybody seems to get behind the fundamentals once it's worth billions of dollars in market cap, But if it does achieve that kind of status, which coins do every single cycle, and the coins from these market caps are the ones that can see those kind of growths. That doesn't mean that because it can, doesn't mean that it will, but I'm just saying it can happen. You could see a multi-dollar price, man. You really could. I think focusing on this 32 cent to 80 cent range is fully appropriate as of now for all-time highs, and maybe even 17 cents. But I definitely do think that you're getting above this, and if you get above that there, 17 cents is the minimum, which from here is over a 50x. So minimum target 50x. The average altcoin, I think, is going to do a 25 to a 30x, so you're going to outperform the average altcoin 2 to 1. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you probably smoke that area there, man. I think that you really do see prices that are well above 30 cents, if not even above $1 or multiple dollars. But we'll see how that goes by the end of the cycle. And I think we'll have a better understanding of that by the end of this next move here in May and June. So we'll go from there. I'll tell you guys more what my thoughts are as time progresses, and I've got nothing else for you. So if you like the video, hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.